If I wanted to win a 100% permanent and total VA disability rating again in 2024, this is what I would do. If I had to start everything over with the knowledge that I have now, I'm going to show you the exact blueprint, what you need to do, explain what P&T is. Jordan Anderson, VA Claims Academy. This benefit to you, 100% P&T, is worth more than 6 figures to you and your family. If you're skeptical about that, click this video. I break down the numbers for you, but I'm going to take you step by step, beginning to end, exactly where I would go with this. Let's get into it. First of all, what even is 100% permanent and total? Let's touch on that for 2 seconds. 100% P&T, or permanent and total rating, is something that the VA rater, your rating adjudicator in this case, has deemed the fact that, hey, you know what? Largely, you are not looking to get better with age. We think that your disabilities are pretty static, meaning that they're fixed. They're not going to get better with age. Maybe you have stuff that's degenerative. More on this later. I'll unpack that. And essentially, you're going to be getting paid, you and your family, for the rest of your life. This is something that you have a check coming in every single month, and guess what? It actually will increase each year with the cost of living. So how's that for a pension? So lock in, because I'm going to explain to you how we get this. First, how did I get 100% permanent and total rating? I completed 4 years in the US Air Force. I did not deploy. And due to the circumstances at the time, the things I experienced, even without combat, I was deemed 100% permanent and total with my VA rating. And it's because I already understood, in part, what was important, what is relevant to bring to the table in the VA disability process. Some people will try to give you the impression that the only thing that matters in your VA rating process, and this is a trap, is your evidence. Your evidence is the foundation. It's absolutely crucial. But your evidence merely existing does not allow the VA to optimally do their job. Sometimes they make mistakes. They will have you believing that just click the link in the description to this Nexus letter, doctor, so I can get these kickbacks when you buy from them. That's not going to be good enough. You have to know how to package and present this information, make it easy for your claims adjudicator to say yes, and equally, if not more important, make it hard for them to say no. Step 1 right now. After this video, I want you to start taking action. It only takes a small push to gain some momentum. So I want you to create what's called an intent to file. This doesn't lock you in. It doesn't mean that you have to file a VA disability claim, but what it does do is it gives you a 1-year window. It opens you up for 12 months to where if you do file a VA disability claim, if you do get an increase or you win your claim, you will get back paid all the way to the day of you watching this video. I want you to do that. So again, it puts a fire under your butt a little bit, but it's not too much pressure. And additionally, you're not going to be losing money because your intent to file was late. That is step 1. Go to va.gov. The link is in the description below. Number 2, and I admit this is an involved process. Things can get pretty complicated, which is precisely why I designed my online training as well as service, writing you custom personal statement templates or custom Nexus letters, pre-research, ready to be signed by your doctor, is because you are going to be doing quite a bit on your end, so the more pressure that you can take off, the better. And it's exactly why simply relying on your evidence to work for itself and present itself will not work optimally. But number 2, any good winning battle strategy contains surveying. You need to gather intelligence, cut through the fog of war. What am I looking at here? So the way that you do that is you pull up, number 1, your active duty medical records. If you were in the service a long time ago, maybe it's at the National Archives, maybe it's at the VA Records Center, or maybe if you were, just transitioning out of military service, for example, or did in recent years, look at MHS Genesis. That's Mike Hotel Sierra Genesis. Pull up your file to see, hey, what was I actually diagnosed with on paper during my active duty service? If you know that it was nothing, hey, then look at your VA medical records. Go to My Health eVet. All these links are in the description. Go to your blue button report, download your medical file, and I need you to tab through it. So Control F, do what you need to do to tab through and see which diagnoses are no kidding on paper. That's going to be imperative, because the next caveat to this, I have my list of diagnoses. Now I'm going to have the discernment, which means you have to have the knowledge and the education to know which one of these are high value, which one of these are viable claims, meaning they're compensable, right? That's what they call it, meaning that, hey, I can actually get paid by having this service connected. Now listen up, because you're on this video because your goal is to get 100% permanent and total. So this means you need to go one layer deeper with identifying your conditions, and here's what I mean. You have a list of your diagnoses. You have a list now, you know what is high value and what is not. Now you need to take into account which conditions would be perceived as not getting better as you get older. I'm talking about things listed as degenerative. Things listed as disorders are typically static. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you have depression. This is not service-connected right now, but you do have service-connected migraines and service-connected degenerative disc disease. You say that your headaches and your degenerative disc disease are equally 50-50 contributing to your depression. Which one do you choose? Both? Potentially you can choose both, right? Get a nexus letter for both causing your depression. But it would behoove you, again, if you're going for 100% P&T, to go ahead and attach this mental claim to that degenerative disc disease, because now this whole pillar is seen as static to the VA. This can make the huge difference maker in whether you get awarded permanent and total or not, and it's something that really no one's teaching you. Number 3, identify your weak points. This happens by detaching and looking at your own claim, acting and thinking like you yourself are a VA rater. And you say, hey, if I had to give an excuse to deny this guy or deny this gal, what would I use? That is your weak point. Once you understand that, that is a powerful, powerful strategy. Let me give you a quick example. You were diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, but it was 20 years ago. It was in service, but it was 20 years ago. So you have an updated diagnosis, you're still going to the doctor for it. But if I had to do this again, I would look back and say, you know what? It's been 20 years since I was diagnosed with this in-service. Can I rely on that in-service diagnosis without the VA filling that 20-year gap with their creative imagination? The answer is no. They're gonna fill in that gap and probably use that as the excuse to deny you through lack of service connection. So in this specific case scenario, that would be the battlefield, right? I talked about the 3 battlefields in the VA disability claims. Does the condition exist? Yes, we have a diagnosis. Is it service connected? That's most people's battlefield. And then you have, if those 2 are good, then you have the severity, right? How bad is it in accordance with 38 CFR? So in this specific scenario, it is a nexus letter, because there's a big 20-year gap where the VA can have imagination of what happened. Go ahead and proactively get a nexus letter to strengthen that weak point. So now it is hard to say no to your file. Number 4, once you've identified your weak points, we're gonna reinforce them, right? Very simple. How we did this, we had just had an example of maybe we get a nexus letter proactively, but what are some other ways you can reinforce your claim? If you have a headaches claim, and you have, of course, you have bulletproof, you have ironclad personal statements, well written, well researched. But also, hey, how about a migraine log, a migraine journal going back 2.5 months? Just on a WordPad, it could be the Migraine Buddy app, but these are all things that rather than just dumping your evidence in the lap of the VA, that could help put you over the edge. What about peer-reviewed scientific notation on your nexus letters? These are things that can make your claim more compelling. Consistent doctor's appointments, things like this can make all the difference in your claim and are often overlooked. Number 5, take your evidence, package and deliver it. This is the difference between the veteran who allows the VA to go out and search for the evidence for them, take a 1.5 years, and maybe doesn't even find everything that's relevant to the claim. Everything that you need to strengthen your claim, you find it, you do the legwork, present, package it and deliver it to the VA. Spoon feed it to them. This even includes at the C&P exam. During your compensation and pension exams, you should be like a helper. You have your personal statement printed out. Maybe you have a couple of notes, things you can't forget. You have some relevant medical documentation. Bring it with you, offer it to the examiner, make it easy for the VA rater, for the C&P examiner to give you a favorable rating the easy way. The last part about this, every single condition that you have ready, this means it's a viable condition, it's a viable claim, you have the evidence, file it. Don't worry if it's 14 conditions at once. Go ahead and file everything that has a viable path to victory. That's it at number 5. Number 6 is where you drive it home. You present this to the VA. don't tell the VA, you present this to the VA. This is different than delivering and packaging your evidence. That's doing the legwork to get your story there, but now you have to present it to where you speak about your strategy, your true story, and that is it. Don't go off trying to bond with your C&P examiner talking about life and irrelevant things that may end up starting to discredit your claim in the eyes of the VA rater. Know your story, know your true story, present that story, and only that true story. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, hit the like button, subscribe for more valuable intel like this, and definitely share it with someone who needs it. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.